ॐ दक्षिणास्य समारम्भा शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमा अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्ता स्मर्या गुरुपरम्परा श्रुतिस्मृतिपुराणानाम् आलयं करुणालयं नमामि भगवत्पादं शङ्करं लोकशङ्करं शङ्करं शङ्कराचार्यं केशवं बादरायणं सूत्रभाष्यकृतौ वन्दे भगवन्तौ पुनः पुनः ईश्वरो गुरुरात्मेति मूर्तिभेदविभागिने व्योमवद्व्याप्तदेहाय दक्षिणामूर्तये नमः। परिज्ञानाश्रम श्रीगुरुशङ्कर परिज्ञानाश्रम शङ्कर सद्गुरु केशववामन कृष्ण पाण्डुरङ्ग आनन्द परिज्ञान गुरु सद्यो जात शङ्कर सद्गुरु गुरुर्ब्रह्मा गुरुर्विष्णु गुरुर्देवो महेश्वरः गुरुः साक्षात् परब्रह्म तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। ॐ सहनाववतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यङ्करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। पार्थाय प्रतिबोधितां भगवता नारायणेन स्वयं व्यासेन ग्रथितां पुराणमुनिना मध्ये महाभारतम् अद्वैतामृतवर्षिणीं भगवतीम् अष्टादशाध्यायिनीम् अम्ब त्वामनुसन्दधामि भगवद्गीते भवद्वेषिणीम् यं ब्रह्मा वरुणेन्द्ररुद्रमरुतः स्तुन्वन्ति दिव्यैस्तवैः वेदैः साङ्गपदक्रमोपनिषदैः गायन्ति यं सामगाः ध्यानावस्थिततद्गतेन मनसा पश्यन्ति यं योगिनः यस्यान्तं न विदुःसुरासुरगणाः देवाय तस्मै नमः. So up till the 17th verse of this 18th chapter, Bhagwan Krishna answered Arjuna's question regarding what Tyaga is and what Sannyasa is. And according to Lord Krishna, Tyaga and Sannyasa mean one and the same, and it is not giving up of action. It is not Karma Tyaga, it is Karma Phala Tyaga. The one who does not really look for and the one who is not unduly attached to the results of whatever his actions that he has to do. He accepts all that comes not as his results but as Ishvara Prasada. This kind of a Tyaga Buddhi in the Karma Phala, which is called as Karma Phala Tyaga, that was what was described by Lord Krishna as Sannyasa. And Sannyasa was described in three different ways as what is Sattvika Sannyasa, what is Rajasa Sannyasa, what is Tamasa Sannyasa. And Sattvika Sannyasa is nothing but the Karma Yoga, which has been explained in detail in the second chapter, later part, and also in the entire third chapter. Then, from the 18th verse, Lord Krishna wanted to describe a few aspects of our day to day activity. See, now, we as human beings or any jiva, it is not possible for us to remain without doing any activity. So, throughout the day, in our entire lifetime, some activity or other is being done. And Bhagwan said in the 18th verse that ultimately all that can happen in the day to day life of every individual. Now we are talking about human beings because we are adhikaris to this jnanam. What can happen in the life of a human being is only two things. One is what is called as the jnana vyavahara. The second thing is what is called as the karma vyavahara. Jnana Vyavahara means knowing. Either I am knowing or I am doing. What is the meaning of knowing? That when I know that there is something there, then an ichha develops or a desire develops to do something about it. Like I know that there is some place called something XYZ. And then there is an ichha which arises in me, oh, I should see that place. I should visit that place. Then what do I do? The third step is I do a particular action which is conducive enough for me to see that place or visit that place. Similarly, Bhagwan Krishna says that our entire day to day vyavahara is knowing. That means what? Janati, desiring, ichhati, yatate, making an effort towards fulfilling or towards getting whatever we know. That is why we have these three types of Shaktis. Every individual Jiva has these three types of Shaktis. What is called as the Jnana Shakti, the Ichha Shakti, and Kriya Shakti. If you see Lalita Sahasranam, Ichha Shakti, Jnana Shakti, Kriya Shakti, Swarupini iti, there is one name itself in Lalita Sahasranam. What it means is that all of us, ultimately, every living being has this capacity to know or to understand, Jnana Shakti inherently there. Then there is this Ichha Shakti to do something or to become something. Then there is this Kriya Shakti, that is by which, the power of which, or the power by which I try to get to what I want. Whatever is my Ichha, I try to fulfill it. Therefore, Janati, Ichhati, Yatate are these three important aspects of one's daily living. And Bhagwan says that there are three aspects in each of these. In Jnana Vyavahara, in knowing, there are three components involved, which he said in the 18th verse. That is Jnanam, Jneyam, Parijnata. That is the knower, the process of knowing called as Jnanam. The Parijnata is the knower, and Jneyam, that which is to be known. It is something which I come to know about. Either I want to know, or automatically I come to know about something. So there is a knower me which knows about a particular object or something called as A or B or whatever. And there is a process of knowing involved, which he called as Jnanam, Jneyam, Parijnata. Similarly, when the karma vyavahara is done, when that particular knowledge is converted into action through the middle step of ichha, through the middle step of desiring for this action, there are three things again. Karanam, or the instrument by which this particular action is done. Then karma, the very object of this action. As to what is it that I want to achieve out of this action, karma, and then karta, that is the very doer of action. Out of these 6 points that Bhagwan has talked about, he is not going to discuss in detail all the six, but Bhagwan chooses to talk about three aspects of it. And in the 19th verse, he said, I want to talk more in detail about Jnanam, Karma, and Karta. In this context, we have to understand that Bhagwan wants to talk about three varieties of knowledge from the point of view of the three gunas. What is the meaning of this? Satvika jnanam, rajasa jnanam, tamasa jnanam. Then from the point of view of the very action that is being done, karma, the very action is of three varieties. That which is a satvika karma, that which is a rajasa karma, and that which is a tamasa karma. And the karta also, the one who's the doer of this action also, can be of three types, because if karma is of three types, then the karta is also of three types. The one who does satvika karma is a satvik karta. The one who engages in rajasika karma is the rajasika karta. And the one who engages himself in any tamasic action is called as tamasa karta. And Bhagwan wants to talk about these three, jnanam, karma, and karta, from the point of view of the three gunas, sattva guna, rajo guna, and tamo guna, from the point of view of the Sankhya system of philosophy, where these three gunas are very much explained in great detail. Now we have to understand one thing here. Whenever Lord Krishna explains anything here with regard to the three, with respect to these three gunas, we have seen it in the 14th chapter also in Gunatraya Vibhaga Yoga. The tamasic or the tamasa guna is explained as something very gross, and the Sattvika Guna is explained as that which is the subtlest and that which is the most desirable guna for a spiritual assimilation of this knowledge. Tamasa Guna is something which leads to a spiritual downfall, never allows the mumukshu to go further. Whereas Rajasa Guna is something which is a middle one in between the Tamasika and the Satvika Guna. Satvika Guna is the one which is the most conducive one for the understanding of this knowledge and ultimately for the spiritual progress of a person. Satvika Guna is explained or given importance by Lord Krishna as to that is where we have to manage to go. Now, does it mean that the tamasic guna and the rajasic guna are something which are considered to be bad? No, because the three gunas are a part of prakriti. Trigunatmika maya. The rajoguna, the tamoguna, and the sattvika guna, sattva, rajas, tamas, are the three inseparable inherent gunas or aspects of prakriti itself. Therefore, we all the jivas, being the very products or the karyas of prakriti, all of us have all the three gunas. But what is Krishna trying to say? What is Lord Krishna trying to say here is that if I can understand that I have predominantly a tamasic nature or a tamasic predisposition of the mind, this kind of a predisposition is not conducive for my spiritual growth. Therefore, I have to overcome the tamasika guna. And what is the best way of overcoming the tamasika guna? By indulging myself in the actions, in right action. So rajoguna also cannot be blamed, that if a person is very active and all the time in activity, it cannot be blamed, because ultimately rajoguna is what is really necessary for the contribution to the world. Everybody cannot be really sitting in a sattvic guna and wanting only to know. We need people who are performers, who are active contributors to the world. And Rajoguna definitely has a role to play. Therefore, we cannot put down Rajoguna as something which is not conducive. It is conducive in what way? Rajoguna can convert me from a predominantly tamasic intellect to a sattvic intellect. And Rajoguna is helpful by doing karma. Veda Vihita karma, the Nitya karmas, the Naimitika karmas, whatever karmas are conducive for my growth, whatever karmas are conducive for me to live a life of dharma, whatever karmas are conducive for me to share in the yajna, dana, taporitya, how I can live my life, day to day life. And that is the yajna way of life which we talked about in the third chapter. It is absolutely necessary to do karma. But what does Rajoguna do? It tends to keep me always occupied with the work, occupied with action, occupied with karma, and continuously being involved with Rajoguna Pradhana intellect may not allow me to go to the next subtler level of Sattvika karma. Therefore, ultimately, it is necessary for a mumukshu to even overcome this incessant desire to keep on acting. I have to overcome the predominance of Rajoguna also and ultimately get established in Sattvaguna, because it is the Sattvaguna which is conducive for me to listen for Shravanam, Mananam, and Nididhyasanam of Atmajnana or Jnana Yoga. What is conducive for me is Sattvika predominance or Sattvaguna. Therefore, none of the gunas are bad. Though Lord Krishna is explaining a person, a Sattvika karma, a Sattvika jnanam as the most exalted, Rajasika as middle, and Tamasika as the lowermost or the grossest. The meaning of this has to be understood very clearly, that we cannot overcome any of the three gunas. What should be our purpose? Our purpose should be to graduate from tamoguna. If at all I have a predominance of tamoguna, I have to do action, Veda Vihita karmas, and get myself out of this tamasic preponderance and get into the mode of karma. And eventually, I have to cross the mode of Rajoguna also, cross the incessant or the desire, never ending desire for karma. I should not be satisfied just doing karma. I may be doing excellent work, contributing to the society. Good. But then I have to understand that this is not my ultimate destination. My ultimate destination is to understand who I am. Aham Brahma Asmi iti, this knowledge, and freeing myself totally from repeated cycles of birth and death. This is ultimately is my ultimate goal, and therefore I have to progress from Rajoguna to Tamoguna also. And we saw up till the 24th verse, in the 20 till the 25th verse, we saw that Bhagwan described from 18th verse to the 25th verse, Bhagwan described the three types of jnanam and the three types of karma. Now, I'm not going to repeat it again because I've done enough of description of it in the last class. Let us straight away go to the 26th verse, where he's going to describe now the three types of kartas. Now, should Bhagwan Krishna again describe the three types of kartas when three types of karmas have already been described as a sattvika karma, a rajasa karma, and tamasa karma? Therefore, a person who's indulging in sattvika karma, who's predominantly doing sattvika karma, is a sattvika karta. The one who's predominantly engaged in or involved in rajasa karma is a rajasa karta, and the one who is predominantly in tamasa karma is a person who is a tamasa karta. But Bhagwan decides to explain this, detail this again in the three types of kartas. Now, in the 26th verse, the sattvika karta is going to be described by Bhagwan. Let us see how the 26th verse reads. मुक्तसङ्गो नहङ्क्वादी धृत्युत्साहसमन्वितः सिद्ध्यसिद्ध्योर्निर्विकारः कर्ता सात्विक उच्यते. Who's the satvika karta? Mukta the one who does not have any kind of an undue attachment, asakti, or sangha in any of the actions that he is doing, nor is he entangled in an anxiety about what the results of one's actions are going to be. So there is no sangha. Sangat sanjayate kama, kamat krodho bijayate, krodhat bhavati sammohaha. We saw that. So whenever there is an undue entanglement with the karma itself. Whatever I am doing, this is my karma. This is my karma. I am doing this. I am doing this because I am great and I am capable of doing it. And when I do this karma, I am going to get this result. For this result, I am doing this karma. See, because of this particular karma that I am doing, I am benefiting so many people. It is these kind of ideas, these kind of thoughts are not there in a person who is a sattvika karta. So he is mukta sangaha, that is free from any kind of an undue entanglement with the type of karma. Whatever is the karma that is conducive for ultimately this Shravana Manana Nididhyasana to take place and free him from this samsara, that kind of a karma only he does. Even then, Maya kartavyam iti, this is what I have to do. It doesn't matter what karma it is. This is the karma that I have to do at this time, and I am not bothered, I am not worried about what it is going to fetch me. Anahamvadi, the one who does not keep on saying aham aham iti. See, I had done this. See, I have done this. Sometimes we find people who keep on talking even without asking. They themselves start talking and continue to keep talking about what they have done, how they acted in a certain situation, to the extent that the other person, the listener, gets fed up of listening. So all the time, I, it is this anahamvadi. That means he is not a ahamvadi. The one who does not keep on saying, I did this, I'm doing this, I have to do this, iti. No, there's no question of cribbing over what is to be done, or no question of feeling very, very proud or vain about what is being done. Anahamvadi, dhriti utsaha samanvitaha. Just because he is not much attached to either the karma that he is doing, nor is he attached to the results of that karma that he is going to get, does it mean that he loses focus or loses perseverance? No. Whatever may be the result that has happened, the things that he is doing, the karma that he is doing, he may get the phalam of his choice, he may not get the phalam of his choice. Even then, the dhriti or the persuasiveness that is required by this person is not gone. He does not lose the willpower. That, the capacity to pursue with whatever he is doing, that does not go away. Nobody has to keep on motivating this person and again. Doesn't matter, do it. No. If the favorable situation arises, if the favorable result arises, he takes it as Ishvara Prasada and thanks God for whatever has been given and continues further, gets motivated by success. What about failure? He does not consider anything as a failure. Yes, for this particular purpose, yes, this was the intended purpose of my doing this karma, but it did not happen. Something else happened. What can I learn from it? This is also Ishvara Prasada. The so called failure has come about to teach me something, for me to learn something from it. Therefore, the success of a particular action or the failure of a particular action are not named as success or failure, but they are taken as Ishvara Prasada and experiences from which to learn and carry on further activities. So his dhriti, that is his, that perseverance does not come down. Utsaha, the utsaha doesn't come down. He might have not achieved the results of his choice, but his utsaha, his enthusiasm does not come down. So this dhriti is there, and at the same time there is persistence. Dhriti means persistence with whatever he is doing, and utsaha. There is this never any lack of enthusiasm. Siddhya siddhyo nirvikaraha. Nirvikara means not unduly affected by siddhi or asiddhi. Whatever I want has happened, not jumping around. No, yes, okay, it has happened. I'm happy. Thank God for it. And if I can do better, yes, I will do. If what I want has not happened, well, that is what it was meant to be. It was not meant to be anything other than this. I did my best. Maybe there is something to learn from this, something to do in a little different way, in a better way. I pray to God and continue to do it. So nirvikaraha, not unduly affected by either siddhi, success, or asiddhi, failure. Such a karta, such a doer is called as a sattvika karta. Then next comes a rajasika karta, the one who is all the time interested in only activity, in action. What is the difference between a Satvika Karta and Rajasika Karta? Here, a Satvik Karta is not unduly affected by the success or failure, but a Rajasik Karta is the one who's hell bent only on success. He wants the karma to be done. He does the karma in such a way that, yes, I should be successful in this. At whatever cost, whatever happens, this should give me the result that I want. And if the result does not happen that way, then he can really go down. He does not take failure in the right context. He does not failure. It does not take failure in the right way. This is the difference between a Satvika Karta and Rajasika Karta. A Rajasika Karta also works very hard like a Satvik Karta. But here, a Rajasika Karta is only focused on the positive result that he has to get, and he cannot accept any negative result. So let us see what the Rajasik Karta is. Ragi karma phala prepsuhu lubdho himsatmako shuchihi harsha shokanvitah karta rajasah parikirtitah. Who's this Rajasik Karta? Ragi, the one who's propelled only by raga, the desires, the kamas, the one who's literally driven only by passion or raga for a certain result. Even a Satvika Karta is a passionate Karta. But then here, there is a lot of difference between the quality of the passion with which a Satvika Karta does the action and the Rajasika Karta does any action. So he says here, a Rajasik Karta is Ragi. That means he is completely pushed or propelled by desire for a particular result. Karma phala prepsuhu. Karma phala prepsuhu. Only interested in a particular karma phala. I want this. I'm doing this action. This is the way it should be done, and it cannot go wrong. It has to give me this result. He's not willing to accept that there are so many variables between my discharging the action and the karma phala that I get. Whereas a sattvika karta is aware. Yes, only doing the action is in my hand. Karmani eva adhikarahate ma phaleshu kadachana. I can do the action, but when the karma phala comes back to me, there are so many variables involved. The law of karma is involved. Therefore, whatever I get back as the karma phala may not be to my satisfaction. Iti understanding is there in a sattvika karta, whereas in a rajasa karta, he is a pure karma phala prepsu, the desire for karma phala, not willing to accept the law of karma, not willing to accept that there are many variables which can really change the result, and it may not be according to what I want. He may be a confident doer, but still, I have done it. This is the way it has to be done. How did I fail? Why did I fail? No, I should not have failed. This is the mental makeup of a Rajasika Karta. And who is he? Lubdhaha, greedy. Lubdha, greedy. Not just greedy, not willing to share what he has with others. He wants all the results, all that comes for himself. He wants to hoard. He doesn't want to share. There's no question of, trying to share what he has got with others. No. He wants to take everything, including whatever name, fame, success of whatever it is only mine. It is not anybody else's. Does not want to actually give the credit that is deserved by other people in that particular action. He's lubdaha, he's greedy. More and more and more he wants. At the same time, he's miserly. He's miserly in sharing the resources, miserly in sharing the fruits of, the phalam, karma phala, miserly in even frank appreciation of other people who have helped him in this. And at the same time, himsatmakaha ashuchihi. Himsatmakaha. He can sometimes become absolutely, it could be a himsa to others. His intention may not be causing any himsa to others, but that propelled, that which is that desire which propels this person into action for the sake of a particular karma phala can sometimes cause a lot of inconvenience and discomfort to people around him, which he is not sensitive to. So he is very insensitive to the dukkha of the people around him. And ashuchihi means he may not be dharmic all the time. To just fulfill his desire to do that karma, such a person may take up to adharmic activities also. And harsha shokanvitaha, totally moved, ups and downs, happy today, unhappy tomorrow, happy today, unhappy tomorrow. Harsha Shoka Anvitaha. If something good happens, jumping around with joy, not willing to share his success with others. At the same time, when there is a failure, there is Shoka, and that time he can share his Shoka with everybody, blame everybody for his failure, but at the same time, he's Lubdaha and he's not actually, he's not dharmic many of the times. He may be dharmic to start with, but then when the results are not going according to what he wants, he can even turn to an action of adharma. Such a karta is called as a rajasa karta. Now he goes to the tamasa karta. What kind of a karta is a person who has tamasic predominance in his kartritvam? What kind of a person is he? Ayuktah prakritasthabdah shatho naishkritiko lasaha vishadi dirghasutri cha karta tamasa uchyate. So he's ayuktah. See, we have different layers of personalities. We have the Annamaya Kosha, Pranamaya Kosha, Manomaya Kosha, Vijnanamaya Kosha during our waking hours, during our working, during our action. It is the Sthula Sharira, Sukshma Sharira, all these layers of our personality, the physical layer of personality, our emotional layer, our intellectual personality. All these personalities are working together whenever a karta does something, whenever a person does something. And it is very necessary to have an integration at the level of all these levels: the physical body, the mind, the intellect, the sense organs, all of them should be integrated and work as one unit. Whereas ayuktaha means this tamasic karta is the one who does not have any kind of an integration of the body mind sense complex. It is like an orchestra where every instrument is playing in its own shruti, no common shruti, no integration. Everybody is playing whatever they want, whenever they want. What kind of a situation, what kind of an orchestra will it be? This karta, tamasika karta, is ayukta. Shama dama is not there. He is not an integrated person. Prakritaha, he's a very childish person, absolutely childish. Does not think, does not plan before he does anything. We saw that tamasa karma last time. There is no question of anubandha, there is no question of nashta, there is no question of himsa. Whether I am capable of paurusham is there or not, whether this is going to lead to the right thing or not, is it the right way to do it, what are my losses, nothing. No plans, no plans at all. Childish. I want to do something, immediately I do something without thinking about the anubandhas or the consequences of it. Such a person who takes up to a action without thinking, a childish way, he does the action and thinks later. Such is a childish person. He's called as an uncultured or a prakrita purusha. The next word is stabdaha. Stabdaha means the one who is incapable of politeness or respect to others. Stabdaha. How should I behave with others? What is the meaning of politeness? Wherever there is a need for me to show respect to something or somebody, am I able to show it? No. This person who is impolite and cannot be respectful to any other jiva, and while doing his work, such a person is called as stabdaha. Shataha. Shataha is another very, very, you know, a very quality which can really pull down a person spiritually for spiritual downfall. That is a hidden meaning or hidden agenda. Outside, nobody knows that that is your agenda. You behave as if you are doing the right thing. But inside, hidden agenda is something to destroy somebody. There is kapata. There is what is called as a person is a kapati. There is a hidden agenda to destroy somebody. Such a kapati is called as the shataha. Shata. This is one of the worst kind of, the mental makeups that can pull down a person. No openness, no frankness, no cleanliness in thought. All the time saying one thing, anarjavam, saying one thing, doing something, intention is something else. And naishkritikoho alasaha. Naishkritika means he can destroy others, he can harm others. He does not mind destroying others. What about the Rajasic Karta? He doesn't care if the other persons have got to face trouble because of him, but he does not go out of the way to hurt somebody or to destroy somebody. But this person is capable of going to any extent to destroy somebody also who comes in his way. Typical Asuri Sampat. If you look at the Tamasa Karta, Tamasa Karma, Tamasa Jnana, if you look at all this, it is nothing but a repetition of the Asuri Sampatti of the 16th chapter. And what is he? Alasaha, lazy. I think this is the first one we have to take when we describe a Tamasa Karta. Alasaha, that means the one, is not capable of doing anything which he's supposed to do. He's supposed to do something now. He'll say, no, I will not do it. He'll not do it. He'll leave it like that. He knows it is his responsibility to do it, but he will not do it. Then what happens? Either somebody else who can't stand that job undone will do it without expecting from this person, or else the job remains undone like that. This is a lazy person. That is what is responsible for all these things. It is in the background of all these things. Then Vishadi, always sad, finding fault with others, always complaining, always cribbing, and then Dirgha Sutri, procrastinating. Can you do this for me? Yeah, I will do it. No, but now I want this to be done. This has to be done. Let us see. Okay, I'll do it. I will do it. When the time comes, I will do it. But then the alasyam is so much that he will go on postponing it till the time is up for it, and somebody will have to struggle to complete that work. Dirgha sutri, procrastination, again, which is the effect of alasyam. Such a karta is called as a tamasa karta. Now, for a person who is a jnata and who has to be a karta to do some karma, he is backed by what? There are two things which are backing the knowledge of a person, jnanam, and then the ichha to do a particular karma, an action, and also the activity that is done, whatever karma is done, the karta, backed by two things. One, Krishna says in the next verse, he says, there are two things which are behind, which are actually the reasons or the hetu for jnanam also, for karma also, for the karta to fulfill that particular ichha after having known something. What is that? That is the buddhi, the intellect, and also the dhriti, the perseverance. So for any karta to do any karma, most important aspects or variables are the intellect or the buddhi. That is why in Kathopanishad, Bhagwan Yamadharmaraya, who is the Acharya to Nachiketa, compares this whole body to a ratha and says buddhi is the sarathi, the driver. What is the purpose of a driver? The driver has to be alert all the time. The driver has to know the destination that he has to reach. The driver has to know the path through which he has to go. Similarly, our buddhi has to know what is my ultimate goal. Is karma only my ultimate goal? Or is reaching this understanding ultimately who I am, is that jnanam, atma jnanam my ultimate goal? If that is my ultimate goal, what are the intermediate steps I have to follow? What is the route that I have to take? And for that, the buddhi or the sarathi, the driver, should be integrated enough. If this sarathi himself is not capable of deciding properly, and he is a durmatihi, if the sarathi is a durmatihi, he does not know how to go about, he does not even know his destination, and he sits on the wheel. You can imagine where the owner of the car is going to be led to. Therefore here in the ratha kalpana also, our scriptures talk about buddhi being the very sarathi, the very controller, the controlled aspect, the intellect, which knows what is right, what is wrong, which is the ultimate goal for this Rathaswami, for this individual, and how should I really carry on and take on the journey of this jiva. It is the decision maker is the buddhi. Therefore, in buddhi also there are three types. What happens when a person has a sattvika buddhi, rajasa buddhi, or tamasa buddhi? How the journey towards moksha can be affected or influenced by the type of the sarathi or buddhi, and at the same time, the capacity to hold on, dhriti. So buddhi and dhriti are the two things which Lord Krishna is going to explain now, and let us see what he wants to say about it in the in the 29th verse. The 29th verse, he says, बुद्धेर्भेदं धृतेश्चैव गुणतस्त्रिविधं शृणु प्रोच्यमानमशेषेण पृथक्त्वेन धनञ्जय. Hey Dhananjaya, hey Arjuna, I have explained to you the meaning of what Dhananjaya is in my talk on Paraspara Sambodhana of Krishna and Arjuna on the Gita Jayanti day. So, hey Dhananjaya, hey Arjuna, now I am going to talk about different types of buddhi. Buddhehe bhedam, the three types of buddhi. Why? Because it is the buddhi or the intellect or the intelligence that is behind the right action, the sattvic action, or the rajasic action, or tamasic action. What is it that decides? What is it that sees the ultimate goal? What is it that plans the route of action? What is it that sees that this route that I'm taking is the right route or the wrong route? Should I change my route? Should I take up to another route? If I go by this route, am I going to reach the goal? What are the obstacles in this route? It is this Sarathi or this driver or this Buddhi Rupi Sarathi has to decide. Therefore, Buddhehe Bhedam and Dhritaschaiva, Dhriti also, the perseverance or the commitment or the willpower. What is Dhriti? Perseverance with a certain action. Right now, as a mumukshu, what is my goal? My goal is moksha. Therefore, my buddhi should be capable of deciding, not losing the sight of the ultimate goal. At the same time, what are the intermediate goals that I have to go through? How to go through these goals? What are the obstacles that I may have? And during these obstacles and obstructions, my perseverance, my dhriti or my willpower should not come down. The buddhi should not give up the journey in the middle. The Sarathi, a good driver, should not abandon the journey in the middle. Therefore, for reaching the goal, in addition to being a good karta, in addition to being a sattvika karta, in addition to doing sattvika karma, in addition to having sattvika jnana, it is absolutely necessary to have a sattvika buddhi and sattvika dhriti. And therefore, Bhagwan here says, Buddher bhedam dhriteschaiva gunataha trividam shrunu. Gunataha, from the point of the three gunas. Now I am going to explain to you, Arjuna, the three types of buddhi, which is most conducive for this journey of a mumukshu, and three types of dhriti, the perseverance, or let us call it, for the sake of simplicity, we'll call it the willpower, the sustaining power, the capacity to hold on to, the capacity to pursue whatever is my object of pursual, perseverance. All this can be given the name of dhriti. So, in the further things, we will call it as willpower to sustain my journey towards moksha. Therefore, prochamanam asheshena, without leaving anything behind, the three types of buddhi and the three types of dhriti, which are the very backbones, the two are the very backbones of the journey of a mumukshu towards moksha. So let me talk about it, Arjuna. Now in the 30th verse, he talks about buddhi. The three types of buddhi, that is sattvika buddhi in the 30, 31 rajasa buddhi, 32 tamasa buddhi. Now let us see what Bhagavan Krishna wants to say here. In the 30th verse, he says, Pravrittincha nivrittincha karya karye bhaya bhaye bandham moksham cha ya veti buddhi sa partha satviki. So now, here what the meaning of this is, the buddhi has to know what is my ultimate goal. My ultimate goal is moksha, or my ultimate goal is only dabbling in Veda Purva and doing karma and accumulating punya. Is that all? What is my purushartha? Dharma, artha, kama is my purushartha, or moksha is my purushartha? If dharma, artha, kama alone is my purushartha, then I should indulge in pravritti or in karma marga. So, pravrittincha nivrittincha. Should I engage only in karma marga? Is my ultimate goal only in accumulating enough of merits and going to higher worlds after death, or coming back here again into better surroundings? Is papa, punya my ultimate goal? Accumulation of punya my ultimate goal, reducing papa my ultimate goal. Therefore, I keep on and on and on in karma marga. Continue to remain in Veda Purva, doing all the karmas that the Veda Purva tells me to accrue punya and go to higher worlds. Is that what I want? Pravritti, or is it nivritti? Is it the moksha marga? For the nivritti also, for this particular moksha marga to ultimately moksha also, initially I have to be a karma yogi. I have to do karma sufficiently, sufficient to give me chitta shuddhi. I have to do upasana or manasa karma sufficient enough to give me chitta naishalyam. when sufficient karma chitta shuddhi has happened, when sufficient chitta naishalyam has happened, now enough of karma, let me withdraw from karma and let me go on to jnana yoga iti, the capacity of the buddhi to decide how long and how much to continue in karma marga or paravritti, how much to withdraw, when to withdraw from karma marga, and when to establish myself with the Guru Upadesha in Shravana Manana Nididhyasana Nivritti cha Karya Akarye. What is to be done at this time? If I don't have Chitta Shuddhi, right now it is my responsibility to get Chitta Shuddhi. So for this Chitta Shuddhi, Raga Dvesha dilution, what should be done? Karyam. What I should not do, a karyam. If I am sufficiently prepared for this knowledge, should I keep on continuing in Vedapurva or Karma Marga, or enough now? Now let me concentrate on Jnana Yoga. So should I withdraw from this? What is to be done? Karyam, akarye, bhaya, abhaye. Bhaya hetu, abhaya hetu. The more I remain in karma, there is always a fear that whatever good things I have accrued, whatever punya I have accrued may go away. At the same time, I may accrue a lot of papa karmas also. So, what do I want? Do I want to remain always in the fear of papa and losing punya and falling back from higher lokas to lower lokas? Is this my real requirement or abhayam? Is it what I'm looking for is abhayam or bhayam? What is it that I want? I want to ultimately be in a state where there is no difference between me and Brahman, and there is Abhayam. Abhayam Pratishtham Vindate, says the Upanishad. Abhayam Param Gachati, says the Upanishad. Kathopanishad says. So is it there that I want to be? Moksha Rupi Abhayam. Do I want to be in that Moksha Rupi Abhayam, or do I want to keep being in this karma marga where all the time the fear of losing whatever I have, should I be there? So this buddhi, which is discriminate enough to understand which is the path I have to take, how much I have to be in that, when should I withdraw, is it a bhaya hetu for me, is it a abhaya hetu for me, is it to be done, how much to be done, is it not to be done, if not to be done, when not to do it, what is bandham and what is moksha, what is it that is binding me? Yes, I have done so much of karma, but am I free from bandha? Am I free from bondage? Am I? Am I free from, if I am free from bondage, yes, continue to do. Or if I am still not free from bondage, then yes, I have to think of it. So this buddhi, which has got the discriminative capacity of pravritti, nivritti, karyam, akaryam, bhaya, abhaya, bandha, moksham. What is it that is binding me now? What is it that is necessary to be free? The buddhi which knows by what? By reading, by taking the help of the Guru, by Shastra, guided by the Guru and Shastra, the buddhi which is capable of making this discrimination, such a buddhi, veti, ya veti, buddhi sa partha satviki. Such a buddhi is a satvika buddhi. Then, next one, what is Rajasika buddhi? The buddhi has definitely the goal of moksha, yes, mumukshu, but not very serious about it. The buddhi which gets lost in the middle by in intermediate goals, in the subsidiary goals, in unimportant goals. My destination is there, but I'm getting caught here in the middle. That is a Rajasika buddhi. And what does Bhagavan say here in the verse 31? Yaya dharmam dharmancha karyam cha karyamev cha अयथावत् प्रजानाति buddhi sa partha rajasi. So here, this is an intellect which is not so discriminative. It is an indiscriminative intellect which flits, which fluctuates, which jumps from here to there. Today, I want moksha. Tomorrow, who knows? Moksha is there or not? How to know whether Shastra is telling the truth or not? Who knows? Who has seen? Who has seen a Sthita Prajna? Today, by doing this, I am very happy. Let me be the way I am. Maybe I should do more of this. Today, somebody is telling me this particular puja you do, you'll get this result. Okay, today I did. Tomorrow, somebody says you do Nama Sankirtanam. So, tomorrow I will do Nama Sankirtanam. Day after tomorrow, somebody tells me, no, 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 don't do this particular vrata, you will get this particular thing. So, I go after it. No discrimination. There's no question of deciding upon what is it that I want. Getting lost on the way, very frequently lost, and therefore my journey is only getting more and more prolonged. Yaya dharmam adharmam cha karyam cha akaryameva cha. There is indiscrimination regarding what is dharma and adharma. What is the right thing to be done? In this situation, what is the right thing where I can be in harmony with other people? Where I don't harm other people, where I share what I have with other people. I am not a source of nuisance to other people. That is Shastra Vihitam. As told by Shastra, what is dharma and what is adharma, I do not have any discrimination about it. So, very indiscriminate about dharmam and adharmam. Karyam cha akaryam. What is to be done, not to be adharmic, what is not to be done to be dharmic, or what is done to be a dharmic and not trouble others, and vice versa, that discrimination is not there. Easily get influenced by anybody, anyway, anybody who pulls me in any direction. I get easily distracted. Such a ayathavat prajna, ayathavat prajanati. That means the one who is confused. Ayathavat. That means a person who does not know this is this, this is this. Today somebody says this, I go after that. Tomorrow somebody says something else, I go after that. I don't have the capacity to see whether this is what I want. Ultimately, will I get anything out of it? Ultimately, even if I get something, is it worth all my ayasam? What is my goal ultimately? Have I forgotten my goal? Iti ayathavat prajanati. The one who is indiscriminate and is confused and who does not know where he is going, where he is lost. Such a buddhi is called as a Rajasa buddhi. And a Rajasa buddhi person may not disturb anybody, but his spiritual progress gets halted there. He's unnecessarily dabbling in so many things, and he's himself cutting his journey and he's making his journey longer. And therefore, such a Rajasa buddhi, this kind of Rajasa buddhi is the one which gives rise to a spiritual stagnation. There is no progress. There may be no downfall because he's not harming anybody, but then he's harming his own spiritual progress. Now let us see what a tamasa buddhi is. Now he says, adharmam dharmamitiya manyate tamasavrita sarvarthan viparitancha buddhi sa partha tamasi. This tamasa buddhi is something where he doesn't know anything, but he does not accept that he does not know. He thinks that whatever he knows is the correct thing. That is the thing. He does not even know that he is ignorant of something, but he talks as if he is very knowledgeable about the whole thing. And in spite of his ignorance, he is not aware of his ignorance. And whatever he thinks is the right, he says it is right. He does not even want to have an opinion of people who know, am I right? Am I the way I'm thinking? Is it the right way of thinking? Is my idea about this right or wrong? No. I think so, therefore it is right. Even though it is wrong, I cannot be wrong. How can I be wrong? Whatever I am thinking, the way I think is right. And absolutely sure about it. This is a tamasic buddhi. So, adharmam dharmamiti. Adharma itself becomes dharma here, like the asuras, again asuri sampatti. Dharma, adharma, discrimination is not there. Carrying on adharma all the time and believing and very, very sure that the adharma he's doing is nothing but dharma. Adharmam dharmamitiya manyate tamasa avrita. Tamasa avrita, because he's, completely his intellect is covered by tamas. Total indiscrimination, which can be harmful to others. You may want other people to follow you, Just imagine if there are people who are following such a tamasic person, what kind of a progress can a person? Andhen niyamana yatha andaha. That is what is said in an Upanishad. The Upanishad says, Katopanishad also, Mundakopanishad also, is a avidyaya mantare manyamanaha. Swayam pandita manyamanaha. They think they are panditas, but they are steeped in ignorance. They don't know anything, but they think they are panditas and they lead the others also. And what does it give rise to? Andhena niyamana yatha andaha. It is like the blind leading the blind. So, sarva arthan viparitanscha. In every aspect, the understanding is viparita. Sarvarthan. Anything that he knows is only by viparita artha. There is no proper understanding, there is no right understanding. There is only wrong thinking, wrong understanding, leading others also, forcing others also to follow his wrong understanding. Such a buddhi is called as a satviki buddhi. Such a buddhi is called as a tamasi buddhi. So now you can see how buddhi can also give rise to, or how buddhi can lead a person. A satviki buddhi can lead a person to moksha. A rajasi buddhi can keep the person lost and searching here and there in the spiritual ladder, whereas a tamasi buddhi is the one which can not only deter or bring down his own spiritual progress, it can also cause harm to the others. Now, in the next three verses, Bhagwan talks about dhriti, or the that which is what we call as the sustaining power or the willpower. Let us take it as willpower, as I described. Commitment to do something, perseverance to do something, the willpower. We cannot finish all the three verses. The first verse I'll just introduce in the dhriti. Dhritya yaya dharayate manah pranendriya kriyaha yogena vyabhicharinya dhriti sa partha satviki. The dhriti which is avyabhicharini. In the second line, you have to connect dhriti with the second line, second word, which is avyabhicharinya. Dhritya avyabhicharinya. Unshaking perseverance. That yes, this is the right thing I have chosen. Moksha marga is the right marga, and this is what I have to go through. And till I get there, till I reach my goal, I'm not going to really give up or let loose, and I'm going to continue. This kind of an unwavering, unswerving, avyabhicharini willpower, that which never swerves. Yaya, by which dharayate mana prana indriyani. And this dhriti or this willpower is that with which this person, this sattvika dhriti, continues to take along with it the body, mind, sense complex. It is here that the dhriti is that perseverance which keeps the whole body, mind, sense complex moving or going towards the ultimate goal of moksha. And yogena avyabhicharinya. Avyabhicharinya yogena, that dhriti which never swerves, with that kind of a connection yogena to this never shaking, unswerving dhriti, taking the entire body, mind, sense complex together, taking the buddhi with it. The buddhi and the dhriti are like two sides of a coin. Without the dhriti, buddhi cannot work. Without buddhi, the dhriti cannot be there. So a person, if he has a sattvika buddhi, he has sattvika dhriti. If he has a sattvika dhriti, he has to have a sattvika buddhi. There is no chance of a sattvika buddhi having a rajas or tamasic dhriti. It is not possible, because they are like two sides of a coin. And it is this avyabhicharini dhriti, by connecting with which willpower or sustaining power or commitment, this dhriti is called satviki, which takes along with it the body, mind, sense complex and takes the person towards the ultimate goal of moksha. So dhrityayaya dharayate, this dhriti which holds on, which takes along with it manaha, prana, indriya kriyaha, all the kriyas or the activities of the body, mind, sense complex, along with it, together with it. And what kind of a dhriti is it? what kind of a perseverance, what kind of a willpower it is. It is avyabhicharini, never shaky. This dhriti, yes, this is what it is, and I am going to continue with this. This kind of a sustaining power, willpower, with the help of the Satvika Buddhi, this is called as Satviki Dhriti. See, there is not much of a difference between Buddhi and Dhriti. We can say Dhriti is another aspect of Buddhi. Buddhi is an aspect of Dhriti. From the point of view of decision making, we can call it as, Buddhi. But from the point of view of willpower and sustaining power, the same thing is called as Dhriti. So Buddhi and Dhriti are very, we cannot separate them and say this is this is it, but they go together. But Lord Krishna decides to describe the Buddhi and Dhriti separately only because he wants us to understand that behind every doer, behind every jnata, behind every karma, what is working is this combination of Buddhi and Dhriti. And when I have a combination of a Satvika Buddhi with Satvika Dhriti, then I become a Satvika Jnata, a Satvika Karta. My karma is Satvika and my Jnanam is also Satvikam. They all go together. So all these things from the 18th verse up till the 40th verse, we have to take them as one unit. We have to see the connection between the three types of things which are explained in, with regard to Jnata, then Jnanam, then Karma, Karta, Buddhi, Dhriti, and Sukham is going to explain later after this Dhriti. The other two types of Dhriti with Sukham, we'll see in the up till the 40th verse, we'll see in the next session. ॐ नन्दन्तु साधका सर्वे विनश्यन्तु विदूषकाः अवस्थाशाम्भवी मेस्तु प्रसन्नोऽस्तु गुरुः सदा सर्वे भवन्तु सुखिनः सर्वे सन्तु निरामयाः सर्वे भद्राणि पश्यन्तु मा कश्चित् दुःखमाप्नुयात् ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय